Armada Kickoff is brought to you by Dream Finders Homes, Community First Credit Union, Winn-Dixie, Baptist Health, and Bowden Eye and Associates.
Hello and welcome into Armada Kickoff. It's our season finale episode here on CW17. We're going to look back on the year that was in 2016 for the Armada. An up and down year, a lot of changes, and an exciting finish. We'll also hear from head coach Mark Lowry coming up, as well as our analysts, who will sit down for some extended analyst roundtable opportunities. But let's start with the Armada finishing the season in thrilling fashion as they took on the Tampa Bay Rowdies. The Armada had drawn both games with the Rowdies the end of the spring season, beginning of the fall season, and then on Sunday at Community First Park, in front of a raucous crowd, the Armada took on their in-state rivals one last time.
One last chance for everybody to celebrate with the Armada. Over 4,700 on hand at Community First Park, but in the early going, trouble for the Armada. Ball that wasn't cleared out very far, and Martin Vingard knocked it over the head of a stunned Miguel Gallardo to make it a 1-0 game. Then, 19th minute, the header by Keith Savage off the free kick by Michael Nanchoff. Miguel Gallardo can't believe it. Down 2-0. The Armada had never come down from a 2-0 deficit in the history of the club, and that's right where they found themselves 19 minutes in. 28th minute, look at this little exchange between Keita. Zach Steinberger sets him up. First assist of the day for Steinberger. Keita makes it a 2-1 contest. Mark Lowry would say it really changed the way that things felt at halftime. Almost a 2-2 game. Here is this close call. Does Michael Glodak, the goalkeeper for Tampa, get his hands on the ball before Keita gets there? They waved this one off. Keita wanted the equalizer, but instead they say no. Keita kicked the ball out of the hands of the goalkeeper. So second half, 83rd minute, Steinberger on the free kick. And look at this beautiful piece of skill by Jamal Johnson. Falling back, little half volley, gets it to go. This is not an easy ball to play. Look at that. Just floats it over the head of the goalkeeper. And the Armada level at 2. Could the comeback truly happen? Just a minute later, the Armada would make it happen. Derek Gebhardt finding Zach Steinberger. Steinberger had 2 assists and the game-winning goal. He was named the NASL Player of the Week. The Armada come from behind, down 2-0 at one point. They win it 3-2. They send Tampa Bay off to the USL with a loss, and Jacksonville celebrates with the fans. The Armada a winner in the season finale at home.
So the final 3-2, here's how the Armada stats wrapped up for the season in terms of the leaders. Charles Ilundu and Keita both with 6 goals in NASL play. Keita, remember, had the 1 goal in the U.S. Open Cup against Charleston, so 7 goals across all competitions. Both Jamal Johnson and Zach Steinberger finished with 4 assists. Steinberger really came on in that regard at the end of the year. Steinberger also had 4 goals this year for the Armada, only playing in the fall season. Charles Ilundu, as you might imagine, leading the team in shots. Tyler Ruffin was Mr. Dependable. The Iron Man at the back played every single match but one, every minute but 90 throughout the course of the season. And Kevon George led the team in total passes from his holding midfield position for the Armada. One of the storylines for the year certainly was the addition of Mark Lowry and the promotion of Lowry to the head coach position. He'll be the man in the offseason and heading into 2017. Joe Shepard caught up with Mark after the game on Sunday to get his thoughts. This is Coach's Corner, brought to you by Asana Wellness Center, the official training facility of the Jacksonville Armada.
This is the way we want to end it. I wanted a game with goals. I wanted an exciting game for the fans, and obviously I wanted to win, so this was the perfect combination for me.
Great, and this is your 14th game now as head coach. What have been the big challenges for you this season?
You know, I mean, I wouldn't call them challenges because we have a great group of guys. It's just everything's just work. We just keep working. We work hard every day. And the challenge is keeping intensity up. You know, and this week it's been the last week, nothing to play for, but the intensity in the training has been fantastic. And that's the credit to these guys. And it's a great way to end the season.
What's going to be on the plan for you in terms of preparing for the next season?
You know, we've got to enjoy ourselves a little bit now. The players deserve some time off. They deserve to get the accolades and to enjoy this victory and enjoy some of the good stuff they've done this season. And then later on the week, we'll start looking at, you know, how next season looks. I just want to enjoy it right now.
What are your goals for next year?
We need to continue this. Games like this. You know, our last 3 home games have been unbelievable. and we need more of that. So that's my goal for next season, continue to play exciting soccer, for the fans to enjoy it, to score goals and to win games. I mean, it's easier said than done, but we're just going to keep working hard, and these moments are fantastic. I want more of these for the guys.
Well, of course, the end of the year offers some opportunities to take stock of what's happened over the past season. And one of the ways we do that is by naming our Armada Player of the Year. The fans have the opportunity to vote. Here are the finalists and the nominees for the Armada Player of the Year.
Charles Alundu. Keita was making run out in front. Alundu couldn't quite get it to him, but he battles for it and keeps it alive. Here's Alundu. Charles Alundu from outside the box. His fifth goal of the season. The Armada lead.
Mark Lowry said this week that he wanted the win in Puerto Rico. Here's Keita trying to curl one, and Keita has given the Armada a 3-2 lead in the 83rd minute.
Cleared out for the moment. Boehner, a left-footed blast. And it goes in. Matt Boehner has ended the drought with his second goal as a member of the Armada.
It's a run near the penalty spot, right on his left foot. Look at how wide open he is. And again, Tyler Ruthen, it's the second time he's put his body in the way of a point-blank shot to go along with, I've counted 4 head balls that he's cleared already in tonight's match.
Keita's got it. Keita from distance, punched away by Bauer. Now Steinberger, and
Finishes it. Look at that. Oh, Coach Lowry's going to celebrate with his team.
Players that you can switch around, and we're going to be very strong.
We saw a lot of different players, a lot of different lineups.
All right, we welcome you in the Analyst Roundtable, first of 3 installments here on our final Armada kickoff of the year. Want to review the season, so we bring in the whole crew, Mauricio Ruiz, David Hayes, and Andy Kidd. Andy, how would you explain this season to somebody who didn't experience it?
Yeah, it had its ups and downs, definitely. You know, you started off the year with the excitement of Coach Miola coming in and, you know, signing a Matt Fondy, thinking you're going to have that target forward. Then you kind of had the disappointment of, you know, a couple losing streaks in the middle of the season. And then the excitement again of Coach Lowry coming in and picking things up, and the team went 500 in the last, his little stint as the head coach. So, and ending on kind of a high note. So, yeah, it was definitely a roller coaster.
Yeah, the same thing. I mean, I think both years were the same almost, all this enthusiasm behind the team, and then, then the reality set in. We weren't that good, or something wasn't, going the right way. So then we fired our coach, and we hired another one. And then, and then they did all the right things at the end. Mm-hmm. They worked together. They played as a team, and so Mark has them going in the right direction. Mm-hmm. And the only difference between, the first year, the better that I see this year is that I knew Eric Dade probably wasn't going to stay around with what he has going on here in Jacksonville, and I know Mark is, so that's a plus for us.
Yeah, I will say it was learning of character and learning of identity within the team. What works for this franchise, what works for this group of individuals, what works for the city of Jacksonville. And while the storyline of bringing Tony Miola in the beginning of the season was attractive, was brand, doesn't necessarily work in the NSL market, doesn't necessarily work for a brand new Jacksonville market. So I think we identified ourselves throughout the season. I think it was about discovery this year.
Was that the most significant thing that happened in 2016?
I think certainly the coaching change. I think bringing in Tony Miola was probably more significant than when he left, because he didn't have the coaching experience or the pedigree that comes along with the name, right, to actually put a franchise together. So I think bringing him on was more significant. I think the smart choice of keeping Mark Lowry was almost a simple and the right choice.
Yeah, I think that Mark Lowry was the biggest thing. Taking that interim title off of him, knowing that he's the head coach going forward, knowing that he has a plan and a vision for the franchise and for the team, I think is huge for the Armada going in the offseason.
Yeah, the only thing I can add to that is from the staffing point, that's what I would say. And then from a player standpoint, bringing in Zach. I think Zach's been tremendous for us. I mean, to have that kind of leadership on the coaching staff and then have that kind of leadership on the field is massive.
All right, guys, thanks so much. More coming up here in just a bit. Straight ahead, we will reveal the Armada Goal of the Year as voted on by the fans. Which goal was the best of 2016? Stick around. More Armada Kickoff is straight ahead.
Saturday, the NASL postseason begins, the semifinals, with the spring season champions Indy 11 led by Amon Zayed. They'll be at home at Carroll Stadium, where they have been all but unbeatable over the last year and a half, to take on FC Edmonton, maybe the surprise team in the league. Edmonton finished with a third-best overall record in the combined standings. That's a 3 o'clock kickoff. Then at 7 p.m., it's the New York Cosmos, the defending champions, playing at home, trying to start their march to another Soccer Bowl championship trophy. They'll take on Rayo OKC, the first-year club, made it in as the fourth and final team in the overall standings. The winners will meet in a week and a half for the title.
All right, here are the numbers on the North American Soccer League. You see Christian Ramirez, what a great goal scorer he's been for Minnesota United. He leads the league. Amon Zayed and Wanarongo and Michel, though, will all be in the postseason. Georgi Ristov of Tampa Bay, fifth in the NASL with those 11 goals. As far as the assists are concerned, Nasby Al-Badawi of Carolina sets an NASL record with 10 assists this year. Orongo, Joe Cole, the former Chelsea star, Dylan Mayers, Amon Zayed, and three others with 6 assists on the season, and those are the league leaders in the North American Soccer League.
Players that you can switch around, and
We're going to be very strong.
We saw a lot of different players, a lot of different lineups.
All right, back here on the Analyst Roundtable presented by Subway, Mauricio, David, and Andy. Mauricio, let's start with you this time. Compared to last year, what was the standard of play like in your eyes in the North American Soccer League here in 2016?
I think it grows every year. Certainly the players that are capable of playing at different levels in different divisions, and the biggest telling story is high caliber players come into this league and they need to adjust because there's a level that is respected around.
Absolutely. And you see those international players having to leave, to play for their country, which sends a message that, you've got teams playing for their national teams that are playing for the clubs in the NASL, which is a great sign. I think the thing is, it's going to be interesting to see is, as Minnesota goes to MLS and Ottawa and Tampa Bay go to USL, is how's that standard? How are you going to keep that standard up?
David, you played in this league, so you've got a good perspective on this.
I do. I think the league has gotten better each year, like Mauricio said. But my thing is that the reason why we're not going above that is because I think a lot of players are scared because of some of the commitment of some of the cities. And I think once we iron that out, I think you're going to see a whole better group of players come in.
So what do you want to see from this league going forward?
I want to see, I want to see cities that stay, and I don't want to see so many players leave a city and go elsewhere and kind of bounce around the league, because fans want players there consistently. So, they can buy jerseys. So I want to see that.
Andy?
Yeah, they want, fans want players that they can identify with. The league wants cities that they can identify with. Just like the Cosmos are kind of that poster child for the NASL. They need more of those franchises around the league that are in it for the long haul. If you're the commissioner, you're looking for ownership that want to be in it for the long haul. Like Mark Frisch, he's made a commitment. He's the chair of the board for the NASL. I think that's huge. And so, I just think you need more long-term commitment.
Yeah. The transparency. I think that whatever the business plan from the commissioner, from the owners, I think there needs to be a transparency so fans in other cities can get on board. Right now, it's kind of what's going to happen next year. We shouldn't be sitting at the end of the year going, what's going to happen next year? There should be a plan in place. So transparency, I think, goes a long way.
All right, guys, thanks very much. More coming up here in just a bit. Well, straight ahead, we're going to reveal to you the fans' vote for Player of the Year. We have 6 finalists who emerged as the Armada Fan Vote Player of the Year. More to come straight ahead right here on Armada Kickoff.
The fans' vote is in, and they have selected Kevon George as the Armada Player of the Year. George didn't have a goal or an assist, but was very steady as the holding mid. His distribution and his leadership on the field were a major key in the Armada turning things around in the second half. George also had a tremendous experience playing for the Trinidad and Tobago national team. He made an appearance in Jacksonville against the U.S. in a World Cup qualifier. Kevon George is the Armada Fans' Choice Player of the Year.
All right, you can get a piece of the Armada in 2017 season tickets on sale now. More information or to book 2017 season tickets, call 844-2-ARMADA or go online to armadafc.com. The Armada and Mark Lowry looking for big things in 2017.
Players that you can switch around, and
We're going to be very strong.
We saw a lot of different players, a lot of different lineups.
And we will look ahead to 2017 with the Analyst Roundtable, Mauricio Ruiz, David Hayes, and Andy Kidd. All right, most important thing the Armada need to do in the offseason, David?
Well, I think they need to get back as soon as they can. I don't know the rules behind it, but this year, but I know they need to come back. I don't think they need to make any more big changes, maybe 1 or 2 changes, because I think they got a good chemistry going, and I think the coach is going to help it. And so that's what I want to see.
Get back to work in a hurry, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, I want to get Mark Lowry, his roster, finalized as soon as possible so he can plan going forward. I mean, get that set so he can keep installing his system, keep the core from the end of this year, which I think he was able to do a lot of good things with. And if you're going to add anybody, do it early so he can plan. Don't wait till the last minute.
Yeah, getting to preseason, they don't need to have as long of preseason as they did last year. Limited games, keep players fresh. And kind of start working on the small unit that they plan to have.
So for you, what does success look like in 2017 for the Armada? How are you going to judge whether they're successful in 2017?
I think they have to be a contender at the end of the year. Whether they make the playoffs or not, they have to be in that conversation. 2 games out, 3 games, rather than 10 games out, 15 games out. So I think they need to become a contender.
Yeah, I agree. They have to be a contender in the league. I think, if you look through the chart, you say preseason. I want to get through preseason without injuries. I want to, go maybe win the spring championship, and then get to the playoffs, and then you look at the Open Cup and maybe get to the quarters.
One word: playoffs. You got to get in the playoffs.
You're looking for that. All right. Which player needs to be a bigger factor in 2017, Andy?
Well, you could argue if Danny Barrow's back with the squad, if he could give you the opposite, be on the opposite side of Charles Alundu, you've got 2 very exciting players. If he can make the strides that Charles Alundu did this year and Danny make those strides next year, you've got 2 dynamic wingers that, are probably as exciting as they come in the league.
Yeah, for me, Barrow and I think Gebhard, I think we need him to step up and play a bigger role. And then I want to see Pekka, I want to see him come back.
Yeah, I want to say, I think the big revelation and most improved player was Charles Alundu in my eyes. So can he come back and live up to that standard now as probably the most dangerous player on the team?
So what are your expectations for the team, and what are your expectations more specifically for Mark Lowry in 2017?
I expect the team to, I guarantee you Mark Lowry wants to get started right away. He wishes the new season was starting. So start fast. I think the first 5 games of the 2017 season are going to bode so well into the future of the organization. So I want his team and I want himself to start fast.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, you saw what Indy 11 did in the spring season. They started out, just like shot out of a cannon. Next thing you know, they're guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. If you can do that, in the first 10 games of the spring, you're locked into the playoffs. So
and you can bring that excitement that we'll see at the end of the season to early in the season.
Yeah. So make the playoffs and do it in an exciting way.
Yeah. We'll look forward to it. It was a great finish to the season. Guys, thanks so much as always. Mauricio Ruiz, David Hayes, Andy Kidd, thanks so much. All right, straight ahead, we're going to take one last look back at the 2016 season. It's 2016 in 90 seconds. More to come straight ahead right here on Armada Kickoff. After finishing the season strong, the Armada look forward to 2017, and you can be a part of it. Get your 2017 season tickets now. Starts at just $12 per match. Call 844-2-ARMADA or go online to armadafc.com for more information. And we'll see you at the park in 2017 for the Armada's 3rd season in the North American Soccer League. And we want to take this opportunity to thank some people who have made this broadcast possible throughout the entire year. Our partners here at CW17 and our entire crew have been absolutely tremendous. And most especially to Marcel Robinson and Gary Everett for their great work behind the scenes. This has been a labor of love for a lot of us, not only bringing you the games, but also this show each and every week. My thanks as well to our analysts, Andy Kidd, Mauricio Ruiz, David Hayes, and all the rest. For now, let's take one last look back on 2016, and we look forward to seeing you in 2017 for the Jacksonville Armada.
We have to stick together, off the field and on the field. The chemistry's there.
Now here's Sandoval, and he sends it in. The Armada on top of the 20th minute. Boehner, a left-footed blast, and it goes in.
And what a way to end the drought.
Takes it backfield. Keita in the box. Keita scores. The Armada up 2-1 in extra time. Alondu, an inside move into the box. Alondu, left-footed, scores! Second goal for Charles Alondu, and the Armada are out in front. The rain could not dampen the Armada efforts or spirits on the road in Mark Lowry's first game. Jacksonville just like that.
Our last 3 home games have been unbelievable. That's my goal for next season, continue to play exciting soccer, the fans to enjoy it, to score goals and to win games. It's a great way to end the season.
Armada Kickoff is brought to you by Dream Finders Homes, the mark of a quality home.